Southgate has named his 27-man squad for the UEFA Nations League against Hungary, Germany and Italy. Let's take a look. So yeah, some surprises in this one, isn't there? I'm really surprised actually with some of the inclusions. I'm really surprised actually with some of the omissions. It says a lot about who I think Southgate feels like he can trust. I think it says a lot about his senior players, but he's also got half an eye on the future, hasn't he? So taking a look at this, I'm going to put the squad up next to me now. So obviously we've got Pickford, Pope and Ramsdale in the goal. There was never in doubt about that. So moving on. So the defenders then, we've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, Connor Cody, Mark Gui, Reece James, James Justin, what a shock, Harry Maguire, John Stones, Fikayo Tomori, Kieran Trippier, Ben White and Kyle Walker. In midfield, we have Conor Gallagher, Mason Mount, Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse and Calvin Phillips. And then a forward line of Tammy Abraham, Jared Bowen, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Saka and Sterling. So straight away, the one name that jumps out straight off the front is James Justin. Well done, James Justin. He's snuck in under everybody's radar, really. I didn't see many people calling for him. I think it says a lot, actually, about who he hasn't included. The fact that James Justin has come in. A lot of people have asked him where Tyrone Mings is, for example. So what does it say about Southgate's feelings on him? Maguire and Stones are still our starting centre-backs, but I think it's really intriguing that he's brought him in. I haven't really watched much of James Justin this year. I haven't seen an awful lot of him. So it really was a surprise inclusion for me. In my eyes, he wasn't even in contention. So it's a real bolt from the blue. But well done, James Justin. He's put a tweet on this afternoon already. I bet his family are so proud. So great to have him here. Another centre-back coming through. I hope he does really, really well. And it's another option for Southgate to look at. With the defence, though, clearly there's something to be discussed here with left-back. So in my squad that I initially did earlier this week, I was looking at who would play left-back with essentially Shaw and Chilwell either been injured or just coming back from injuries. So it looks certain, really, that Tyreek Mitchell and Kyle Walker-Peters would come in, given they were selected in the last round of fixtures. And Mitchell in particular seems to do quite well. However, he's not picked either of them. And it says a lot, actually, because the players he has picked, such as Kieran Trippier, for example, and Reece James, neither have been playing all season. They've both come back from injury, particularly Kieran Trippier. I think he's only just started his first game back since his injury at Newcastle. And it says a lot, really, because one of those is obviously going to play left back. He's obviously got the four right backs in there at the minute. James, Trippier, Walker and Trent Alexander-Arnold. So he's obviously going to play, I think, either Kyle Walker or Kieran Trippier at left back. Well, maybe even Reece James, really. It does say a lot about the other left back options that he's got outside of Shaw and Chilwell. He doesn't seem to trust them, or in these bigger games, particularly leading up to the World Cup, he either wants to be looking back to them, or, are they ever going to get in, really, with these right backs? A long way down the pecking order, Mitchell and Kyle Walker-Peters, it would seem, even though we are short on left backs in the squad. So it's an interesting call. Obviously, though, these are experienced players. Trippier, Walker, you would trust them with your house, really. They've done really well for England, so you can't blame him. He's gone back to his experience, tried and tested. Like I said, you can't blame him, really. But it is a surprise that no current regular playing left back really is in this squad. Moving on to midfield, I think it's really great but surprising that Conor Gallagher comes in. Obviously the clear admission in the middle of the park is Jordan Henderson. Southgate says he hasn't been dropped. He said he knows enough about Jordan Henderson already. He's in his future plans, but we've got to remember Jordan Henderson is now 32, so he is looking to the future. This World Cup for Jordan Henderson probably is going to be his last tournament for England. So I think it's a good time, actually. I do understand him not being picked, the more you think about it. And he has had a long season. Played almost every game for Liverpool. I think he's played about 52 games. It's a long, hard season. Obviously, the other Liverpool players have, such as Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, but much younger. So you can see the sense in Southgate not picking Henderson for this, but it was a surprise admission for me. James Ward-Prowse as well, I'm really glad he's in there because I think he's had a great season and I really wanted to pick him in my squad, but I just couldn't find a place for him. I had Henderson in, but I think Ward-Prowse is a brilliant player. Set pieces, everyone knows what he can do, but he's had a really good season this year. Deserves his place. place. Another player who a lot of people were calling for that hasn't made it is James Maddison. I think he can count himself unlucky. But you look at the players that are in there and you can't argue too much. You know, they've all had really, really good seasons, so you can't moan at who's coming. There was always going to be a good player who missed out. Calvin Phillips been in the squad. Surprising for me, I think. He's again had an injury hit season. Obviously he's been back playing recently for Leeds, helped them to stay up. But Southgate obviously trusts him. He wants him in that holding role with Rice, who did, you know, they both did so well during the Euros. So it's not a huge surprise that he's come back in, but a little bit of a one because it was his opportunity to look at other options. But I'm glad he's there. Phillips in England shirt, I was obviously a brilliant player. So no complaints from me. And the rest that are in the middle of the park is what you expect. So Bellingham, Mount and Rice, you know, everyone would have been calling for his head if none of them would have been picked. So right choices there. And then up front as well, it's pretty much as expected. Jack Grealish in my squad obviously didn't make it, but I can see why he's being included. He has got quality. He just needs to add those goals and assists to his game, doesn't he? And I think he's aware of that. But you can't knock him for being included. He is a brilliant player. He does, you know, he's difficult to play against. He draws fouls. You'd rather have him on your side than not. So really happy that Grealish is there, even though I chose not to include him in this particular squad. And Jared Bowen, obviously he was called up in the last squad. Great that he's there. And hopefully him and Abraham both pulled out of the last squad, as did Trent Alexander-Arnold. So hopefully there's not going to be many pull-outs. But overall, it's a very, very good, strong squad. So yeah, you can't really knock it, really. The big inclusion, obviously, is Tomori, who's now come in. Everyone's been crying out for him. He should have been included in the last squad. He's now included in this one. I think he's a great option. I hope he does get game time, actually. Maybe him and Stones play a game, or Maguire and Tomori have a game together. I'm a big fan of Maguire and Stones in England shirt, so I'm really glad they're there. They're our senior centre-backs, as I've said previously. But I think it's a good squad. It's a good squad to go into this tournament, the UEFA Nations League. But I think it's going to be, that squad is 90%, isn't it? Really, if you was picking a World Cup squad, it's probably about 90% there. You would say Jordan Henderson probably does come in as a senior member. The others are very much open to debate. You know, another left-back comes in. I think if Shaw and Chilwell are fit. So it's there or thereabouts, this squad of what Southgate, I believe, wants to take to the World Cup. Obviously, performance and injuries permitting. But yeah, very, very happy. So let me know your thoughts below. I think England are in a great place. We've got options all over the pitch. It's great even during big games, big rounds of fixtures, that he's still willing and brave enough to bring in completely random picks. Like I said, the James Justin call-up, I think, has really caught a lot of people off guard, but no complaints from me. Centre-back is the place where we need to look at as many options as possible. Given Maguire's form and Stones coming in and out of the City squad, we need to just keep bringing through centre-backs because we've got to look at different options there. And yeah, roll on the UEFA Nations League. Not long now to go. Get the Liverpool final out of the way next weekend, and then it's on to the real football, isn't it? So thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video and you're new here, and I will see you on the next video.